on to all of my wonderful shamanic Draculs and Draculinas out there. Of course, it is me, Auric. We are back for part 2. I am sorry, my gothic darlings. It has been a while. Yours truly has been sick as hell. So ill, as you can see. No, all jokes aside, guys, welcome back to the test part 2. I am truly sorry, guys, but for some reason with this game, it's like you got to play it from start to finish. It's an actual fucking test like that, you know? So there was no way there was no way um for me to save the game. So and the cool thing is, every time you play it, from what I've read, they updated it not too long ago. You get different questions. So hopefully, let's play through it and see how it goes. But yeah, it is time. My darlings, it is time to play the test here on Shamanic Goth. Alright. What an introduction. No, no, I'm being an asshole. But no, guys, let's enjoy part 2 of the test. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so guys, I'm sorry. I was supposed to start like 3 hours ago. I was supposed to start 3 hours ago, guys. Uh, but this is what happened. For some reason, you gotta love technology. I just couldn't get my controller. I had a different controller that I always like to try different controllers, and it just wasn't working right for me. And then I had to, with some controllers, guys, it's like you have to update the firmware. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I'm a smart bitch. Of course, I can do it. The fuck no. Like, it took me like a half an hour to figure out this shit. Oh man, fucking technology, man. But it's fun, I love gaming. It's my shit. All right, let's I could talk for days. My fucking tangents. I know, we're here for the test, so let's get started here. Alrighty, new game. No, horrible. Oh, isn't this lovely? That doesn't look nice at all. Now, in order to begin, this is the most important part of this entire experience. You will be asked a series of questions, and you must answer them honestly. Now, when I say answer them honestly, I don't mean answer them how you would like to answer them. Answer them with truth, even if it's hard to face. I need a tissue. We all want to be good people. We rarely want to admit our faults, grievances, or mistakes. But you must decide what you truly want. Do you want this to work properly? Do you want the truth about yourself, your destiny in this world? Or would you rather live a lie just to hide from yourself? The process is very simple in theory. Just answer a long series of questions. What's difficult is self analyzing your own psyche. Because I can't talk today. I'm tired as hell. No. To evaluate the truths in your own mind and life so that you can predict your future. You see, as long as you're honest with these questions and answers, you'll be able to see your own future here. This will tell you things you already know, but don't necessarily know that you know. As long as the answers you provide to the questions asked are 100% honest and true, this process will simply unlock a part of your mind that you do not have natural access to. This isn't psychic. This isn't a personality test. This is simply nature. This is you. This is your own mind. This is simply nature taking its course. This is the human brain at work unlocking hidden truths within itself. While attempting to answer many of these questions, you'll often wonder things like, well, this depends on the circumstances. Create your own circumstances in your mind and answer the questions with a simple yes or no as you see fit. You may not understand nor realize it, but your mind will develop the situation required to answer your question the way it needs to be answered. I invite you to grab a drink of water, sit back, relax, and enjoy the experience. We are about to begin a series of questions, and provided that you're a willing participant, we will be unlocking some substantial information today. Here we go. Alright guys, the test. I'm so fucking excited. Fucking excited, bro. Alright, let's see. Yeah, these gonna be some juicy ass questions. So probably by the end of this, you guys are gonna think I am a messy asshole. Yeah, that's the whole point of me playing this. No, play. Alright, let's begin. Do you believe that you always treat others fairly? Oh, hell no. And here's the reason why, guys. Okay, this is a tough question to have a direct answer, right? Because at the end of the day, guys, and this is just the honest truth of how I feel. So, as we begin here, guys, everything I'm saying here is my opinion. At the end of the day, you know what works right for you, and you and your life, of course. But these are just my opinions and insights. So enjoy. All right. So, do you believe that you always treat others fairly? Okay, so this is how I'm gonna answer this, right? We gonna keep it 100, right? Because that's the test. That's what these games are about, right? So, I personally feel that people treat each other conditionally based on, okay, certain provisions. All right, so I'll give an example. This is a classic example for women. Is the more attractive you are, right? There's that saying, the more attractive you are, the more that people either like you or they may not like you, okay? And sometimes beauty has an advantage, right? The more beautiful you are, the more you fit with the standards of beauty, the more people will be fair to you. Okay? But here's the interesting thing, guys, about life and human dynamics and relationships, and this is just my opinion, is of the other side of the conversation, how about you don't have the beauty, right? Or the looks or things that are the beauty standards, right? So within like your environment, right? Then you may meet people, and I know I've met people like this in my life, where they will treat you fairly based on what you can do for them. So this is the important thing, guys, about whether you want to get into relationship, love, marriage, friendships, all of these things that are part, of some people's lives. And I think this is some of the reasons why there's been a increase in people not getting married. Okay, because here's the thing, guys. Marriage, it can be a beautiful thing, but marriage requires both people, in my opinion now, to be real, honest, and raw with each other for it to really work. But there are some people, guys, and it's really sad for me to say this, but they're married conditionally. It's kind of like in the romance genre, there's a huge genre of books that are a subgenre actually of romance. And you know what it's called? It's called it's called marriage of convenience. So the people are only getting married based on what each person, you know, is getting a benefit from them. So yeah, guys, always be aware of the friendships and relationships you have, and always observe, does that person's actions and words align? Do they really care about you? Like, do they really give a shit? You know, that's just something I've learned in my own life. Is people will treat you based on either what they can gain from you, and it's what I like to call, conditional compassion or conditional love. I mean, look, this is the reason why, guys, these like reality shows are so popular, right? The romance ones like The Bachelor and Love Island and all of that, because it's embodying this question: do you believe that you will always, or do you believe you always treat people fairly? And sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you're nice to someone because you have to be nice to them. Because, like, I'll give an example. Another example is like networking, right? Sometimes you may not like the people you have to network with, but in order to get where you want to be, okay, and this is not, okay, of course, emotionally taking advantage of people, that's not a good thing, okay? But there are some people who will do that. There are some people who will do that. They will like you conditionally. So this is just something, guys, that in my opinion, it comes with maturity, okay? And one thing that I have learned, right, is you have to observe people's like words and actions, and is it aligning with the way they're treating you? That's something I pay attention to. So I would say, do you believe that you always treat others fairly? I would say no. Because if you're doing stuff like networking, even when it comes to like romance, right? If you like someone, you're going to treat them completely differently than if you're not attracted to someone. All right? And that's the tea. No, the tea with Auric. No. I'm stupid, guys. All right, let's continue. Excuse me, guys. It's been a long day. Do you believe that everyone should always be treated equally? Yes, I do. Okay, and here is why. It kind of ties into the first question. Sometimes people will love you conditionally, or they'll be nice to you because there's some benefit, to them being nice to you. So I'm just one of those people that I think it's just really good to be nice to people who also reciprocate that transparently and honestly. But this is the thing, guys, you gotta be careful, right? With romance, with relationships and things like that, you really have to use discernment. Because sometimes, guys, there are people who will love you conditionally. And then here's the part I also learned too is someone can love you and then lie to your face and they love someone else. So they will love you conditionally because maybe there's something about you that they like, and then they like something else in this person, another person. Like, okay, so I'll give an example of this. So it's like, um, I've been reading about like what is the determining factor, for example, if someone wants to marry you, right? And often the determining factor is really interesting. It's like, does this person tolerate the whole spectrum of who I am? You know, the nice side of my personality, the neutral sides of my personality, and do they also embrace my shadow side? You know, this is getting more into like what they call like Carl Jung. They call it the Jungian method. If you're interested in stuff like shadow work and stuff like that, that's where I was reading. That's where a lot of that is inspired by and comes from. So should do I believe everyone should be treated equally? Yes, but that doesn't always happen because sometimes people they will treat you based on conditions and sometimes if it benefits them. So that's where, guys, that's why I said you have to use discernment because there are people who will be fake nice to you, or they're just really good actors. And this is where even in my own life, this is where I got my heart broken many times. So you like discernment, guys. Using discernment is so important. So yes, I do believe everyone should be treated equally, but that doesn't always happen. But at the end of the day, guys, like you know it's hard, but it's like um sometimes you have that empathy. See, that's why it's hard, guys, to be an empath because you have this wonderful heart, right? And then sometimes in life, you just have these moments where, like, people they just continue energetically draining your kindness, you know? And eventually, this is where a lot of empaths, I can't speak for all empaths or people who are empathic or compassionate, but I understand those people who just kind of keep to their energy and keep to themselves. It's not necessarily, in my opinion, that um, they don't like people. They're keeping to the energy of themselves because unfortunately they had a lot of life experiences where they were emotionally treated like shit by people that they thought that was going to be kind to them and people that they thought they could trust. So yeah, that's why, guys, as a seasoned goth, okay, that's one thing that I have learned is, yeah, you really got to get to know people. Like, you really got to get to know people, you know? So important. So that way, you're not always getting your heart broken or, it's tough. And see, that's the thing, guys, too, about, being empathic is it can feel very lonely. Sometimes it can feel like very isolating, especially if you have hobbies and interests that sometimes there's that perception of people make fun of you for it or you feel like an outsider. And that's something that I've had to learn myself is being a goth or liking alternative fashion, and it's cool. And the thing I've learned too, guys, is sometimes good friendships, good love, all these things, it can take time because you really got to get to know people, you know really understand the core of people, and sometimes that takes time. So yeah, that was a long explanation, but I love these things. I just like talking like these philosophical questions and answering them. It's interesting. So, yes, I think everyone should be treated equally. Would you consider yourself to be an innovator? That's a good question. Innovator. Honestly, I don't think so. Because, see, here's the thing, guys, about being an innovator, though, is to really be an innovator. It's like, and this is a hard thing, too, is it's like you are the creator of trends in a way, or you're reinventing the trends in an innovative way. And let me tell you, to the content creators, y'all who do that shit, hats off to you, bitch, because that's a lot of energy. To just, and some people, guys, they're just so damn talented like that. You know what I'm saying? They're just like an idea machine. They're just so innovative. And man, that is a talent, guys. Let me tell you, to be creative, to be an innovator. But see, here's the downside, though, I will say about being an innovator is that when you're an innovator, um, there's a lot of pressure of you constantly being an innovator, you know? So I think sometimes, and I think this is a reason why the tide is in. I think this is the reason why there's been this huge trend now of people doing cozy gaming, of people doing like adventure games or hidden object games. And, because it's like to constantly, be the one, right? Or to be that content creator where you're constantly being innovative. Eventually, what can happen is for some people, right? You can have something, and I've experienced this too as a content creator. You can have what's called, and many artists deal, they can deal with this too. It's called creative burnout. And you get to a point where you're like, I just don't want to be creative anymore. I don't want to make content anymore. I'm tired. Like, it's not ungratefulness, in my opinion. Now, you do get to that point where you're just like, do I really want to continue being creative? I think I have done everything. And this is where, guys, you see, right, where a lot of like bigger content creators or just content creators in general, they'll take a break and recollect and go on a new creative journey and really find themselves, of like, why am I a content creator? What are some things that I can do to connect with my audience better, but still maintain my creative flow? Where I can feel like myself. Stuff like that. So, no, I wouldn't consider, myself an innovator, because that's a lot of fucking energy. And as you can see, I don't have fucking energy. No, I'm playing. No, I really don't have the energy, guys, to do. Let me. And you know that saying, keeping up with the Joneses, right? That takes a lot of fucking energy to do that, guys. Just constantly, just constantly, being an innovator. It's a lot of work, guys. So if you see those people who do that, let me tell you, guys, some of these people, I wonder if they even sleep, man. Like, they're always like thinking, or they always, they're like some people, they always have like a planner or a journal, or they're constantly writing, stuff like. But there's different types of innovators too, guys. So, but yeah, I wouldn't consider myself one, because it's just, I like to be like cozy, and yeah, that's a lot of brain power. I'm a dumb broad. I don't think. No, I'm playing. But no, I am not an innovator. Do you believe that you are worthy of someone's time investment? Ooh, messy whole time. No, I'm playing. Messy whole time. Hoeing it up. No. But here's the thing, guys. All right. As I've been hearing, but everyone's different though when it comes to love and romance. Yeah, dating is rough. To those of you guys who are dating, like, man, props to you. Okay, I don't know how you guys are doing it. Some of the dating stories that I have heard, I was just like, gosh, damn, like, I would never want to date again after hearing some of these stories. But here's some of the things, guys, I think that I have learned about love and romance. Number one, and I know this sounds so cliche, um, but yeah, it's like you really gotta be yourself, man. I used to be like that. Like, I was like, oh, I have to change like my entire personality for, someone to like me. And, you know, you gotta be yourself because whoever really likes you like that, because here's the thing, guys, love is a process. Now, for some people, right, they may have the instant love and that happens right away, and that's great, right? But I don't know, some of the love stories that I have read, outside of like romance books, of course, and talking to people who have like been together since probably the Stone Age. No, I'm joking. Da 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 da. Jokes. But I would have to say though, yeah, they always said that. They said, love was a journey for them until they got to that point. Like they had to learn each other's like love languages. They had to, really be honest with each other. And there's this really funny saying that says that, if someone really cares about you, they should fart in front of you, like, but if your farts are atomic though, yeah, about that. No, I'm joking. But yeah, but like that's the thing. Like it's not that you should fart in someone's face, right? Um, but if you really, really, really care about someone, then it's like you should just be yourself. You should not have to compromise your personality. You should be authentically yourself. So I would say for myself though, am I worthy of someone's investment? I would say, am I worthy of someone's time investment? It's like that whole like right debate where it's like, what do you bring to the table? This is how I would rephrase this question though. Like, and this is a question that I think I've just reflected just on understanding love and romance from and dating and all of that from my perspective is if you were to come into my life, right? You say you care about me. Okay, that's fantastic. Um, and I appreciate that, right? But if you really cared about me, as an example, this is what I would say if I was dating, right? Um, if you love me, you say you care about me, all that good stuff. Um, how, what are the things that you would do to make my life better than what I am already doing for myself? And that to me is really the $1 million question, you know? And then you just sit back and see how that person answers that. And that to me tells me a lot, Um, because it's a very deep, it's a deep question. It really is. Like, like, okay, if we were a couple, what are the things that you would be doing, right? That would bring joy into my life that I'm not doing for myself already, right? So I personally feel though that I'm not worth that time investment because and then this is another twist to this. Okay, so there are some people out here, guys, they are known as they're called demisexual people, right? And demisexual people, there's a whole spectrum, but I was reading about this. So demisexual people are people who they don't feel romantic attraction. Excuse me here, guys, I'm so sorry, I'm like, now I'm farting. No. No. But demisexual people are people that they do not feel like a relationship connection or a romantic connection until there is an emotional connection. So to me, that's the reason why I would answer no on this, because a relationship is a time investment. And if you have to prove, see, some of these questions are deeper, guys, than like what I thought, right? But if you have to prove, and this is just my opinion, if you have to prove that you're worthy to someone, to me, that's not a good foundation of starting a relationship. Like, it's not. So I would have to say no. Do you believe that others are always deserving of your time? Let's see. Yeah, I am an attention whore. No, I'm playing. Far from it. But honestly, guys, I would say no, because at the end of the day, I've just, I've learned that, when you're a compassionate or and empath kind of person, a lot of the time you're focusing on, like, and I can't, once again, I can't speak for all, but like, just from my observation of like some empaths that I know, right? A lot of them just keep to the energy of themselves, like, for real. Like, they're focusing on, like, they want to just recharge their energy. They want to, be in meditation and just relaxing and being cozy and comfortable, as I like to say it. So, when it comes to like deserving of time, it just, it's like, okay, you either you like me or you don't. Like, that's one mistake, guys, that I did in my life, was I was constantly trying to prove, you know um that I was likable. And I wasted a lot of my fucking life doing that, right? So to those of you guys who are, of course, the next generation of adults out there, don't do that shit. Don't. Like, I wasted so many years of my life trying to be likable, trying to, like, if you like trends, that's great, but I tried to do that too, like following trends and being cool, and it got me fucking nowhere, guys, to be real. Like, you know, and I even remember that too, like growing up, and it's like you want to be popular, right? Like that song, right? And it's like it gets you, yeah, it gets you nowhere. There was actually, guys, there's a really great show, because I know there's been like an emergence of people interested in shows from the 2000s, and there was a really cool show. It was at like the end of the, like, on the cusp of the 2000s, and it was called Popular, okay? And that's the actual name of the show. It was actually decent too. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. um but it did focus on a lot of themes like that. Like, I forgot the name of the two protagonists, but they're like polar opposites. So one is like really geeky and with the nerdy crowd and the geeky crowd and stuff. And then, oh no, they're sisters. Yeah, and that's what made the show really juicy, is because um they found out that, I think they, man, I haven't watched it in a while, but it was something like, they had some type of relational connection, and then the other, like, I think they were sisters, yeah, but I digress. But yeah, they were like sisters, and then the other one would, like, when they would go to class and stuff, they would like pretend that they didn't know them, because one sister was more like alternative fashion ish, and then the other sister was like clueless kind of fashion. And they then, after a while, they started like connecting. It was because of some type of family dynamic. It was like a interesting family dynamic, but they kind of kept like separate from like each other. And there were moments in the show like that where one character was just like, man, like, no one wants to like make time for me and hang out with me, and that kind of thing. So that's one, I will say, that's just me. That's one perk of, when you feel like you're like an outsider, I would say, in those type of settings like college and stuff like that, is that you get to spend a lot of time with yourself. You're in hermit mode, and I understand too the commentary on that. Like hermit mode sometimes can be counterproductive, but there are some times when you're like an empath, or guys, for those of you that let's say you're on your college journey, or if you decide to do that, or just in general, guys, you'll like meet people like that in life where they just like keeping to the energy of themselves. It's not that they don't like people. You never know. They may have had life experiences where, people bullied them or made fun of them, that kind of stuff. And they just kept to the energy of themselves, maybe because of that. And other times, guys, some people just like, they have to go like into hermit mode, and it's not like a negative hermit mode. It's just like I need to recharge, because it's like being around people. Because for some people, guys, like I'm even like that sometimes. When you're around a lot of people, and let's say you're empathic, or there are people that are called they're called like highly energetically sensitive people. So like you can imagine, guys, going to like a Sabrina Carpenter concert. I fucking love her. Oh, I love Sabrina Carpenter. She's that bitch, man. Um but like if you go to like a show like that and there's like hundreds of thousands of people, that's a lot of fucking, energy, so that can be intense for some people. So they'll still go to the concert, but then like afterwards they have to like um just spend some time with themselves, reflecting. A lot of artists do this too. I noticed that like creative people, they'll have moments where they have these, like, some people are like that, right? They have these creative spurts and stuff, and then afterward they're just like, okay, I need to recharge, I need to like ground, I need to, just like be away from people. It's not that they don't like people, guys, but some people are like that. They just like to chill in the energy of themselves, like, really, so yeah, I don't think that way, because yeah, I need a moment sometimes too, to like recharge, and just be in the peace of my, myself, so I would say no. Would you say that sometimes you have trust issues? Yeah, I definitely have trust issues, but it's just because of what I've been through. It's like, I've had people pretend to like me. I've had people say like, "Oh yeah, we're friends." And then I would find out and they're like, "Nah, we're not friends." And it's like, "Oh, I thought we were friends." I've had like sometimes I'm thinking I have like a clique, or a group of friends, and then come to find out they just, they didn't like me, so they were just like pretending, not pretending, but they were just like being nice and stuff. And when you find, just to be nice, like, "Oh, welcome to the clique," you know what I mean? But sometimes, guys, that stuff is hurtful, man. So, this is a reason why, like, I, if I like someone and I vibe with them, I really take the time to get to know them, so then, I understand their friendship style, those type of things. I sound like I'm really over analytical, but the thing is, guys, when you become a product of bullying, like myself, for like most of my life, sometimes you can be a little over analytical, because you're just like, okay, I really need to like take my time, get to know this person. Like, is this person really wanting to be a friend with me, or are they just, or is it just like what they call it, like friends with benefits or something like that? So yeah, I would have to say I do have trust issues, just because of what I've been through, unfortunately. But I take my time to get to know people because of that reason. Would you be alright with living alone forever? Huh. I think if you're the type that you just be chilling and vibing. Some people like being solo like that. Like for example, right? There are people who do solo, what they call it, like solo traveling or whatever. I see why they do that, because like sometimes, guys, like I said, for some people, it can be overwhelming to be around a lot of fucking people. It's a lot of energy circulating, and some people are really, sensitive to that, large crowds, stuff like that. Even myself, like I'm the type, I prefer, going to like smaller music events or, smaller, art shows and like, stuff like that. Cause that's just, I mean, I won't lie. I would love to see Sabrina Carpenter live though. Fuck, man. She's so beautiful too, man. I'm so jelly. But my messy ass. But honestly though, living alone forever, I don't think I could do it, man. Yeah, I don't think I could. I would have to have some, cool goth, alternative fashion comrades, like once you meet people, guys, that you vibe with, it is such a beautiful fucking thing to have, a sense of community. But guys, to keep it real too, and maybe this just comes with life experience, there are some people, guys, that they can live by themselves, like they totally fine like that. And maybe it might be due to things like, like myself, like being bullied, and you're made to feel like an outsider, for example, because you're goth, or maybe you have a different fashion sense, or things like that that can really make you stand out, right? So I would say no. Like I have to have a couple comrades, and we have our Adams family house or something. That'd be fucking cool. All right, give me one moment here, guys. I'm gonna get something to drink. Okay, I will be right back, my darling ghouls. Ghouls. All right, my Dracules and Draculinas. I am back for more of the test. Oh, oh, I'm enjoying it so far. No, I'm so dramatic. Sorry, guys. All right. Do you always give someone the benefit of the doubt? Huh. That's a good question, actually. Huh. I would have to say no. And, like, see, guys, this is why, like, being a product of just, like, on and off bullying, it fucking sucks because it makes you, like, for some people, I can't speak for everybody, but it really makes you feel like you cannot trust anyone. Because like when you get bullied, right, people are making fun of you for things that like make you you, or people have all kinds of reasons, guys, for like for bullying and stuff like that. But one of the reasons, like I noticed in my life when I was getting made fun of, it was because like I was playing like video game. Like guys, there was a time, okay, playing video games, you had to keep it to yourself. See, this is where there's like generational differences. Like now, it's cool to play video games. Um, excuse me, but there was a time where it wasn't cool to be goth. It wasn't cool to play video games. It wasn't cool, and video game culture was like a niche within a niche within a niche. Like for me, I tend to play, more of these type of games, the Q&A kind of games, adventure games. I love Japanese RPGs. They're called JRPGs. I just like RPGs in general. Huge fan of visual novels. Hell yeah, I love a good visual novel. There is one, guys, we're gonna play. It's really fucking good. I can't wait to share that with you. Oh, it's gonna be fucking good. It's a good one. It's a good one. But I wanted to get through the test. I think there's like 4 games in all, because it's a really good fucking game. I like it. But yeah, I would have to say no, because like, when you get bullied, it's like it's hard for you to like trust people, or open up to people. Like, it's very hard for me to like open up my heart and stuff, because I've been made fun of a lot. If I was not being made fun of for the fact that I liked horror movies, or I like gothic fashion, or those type of things. So like, I tend to I tend to keep to the energy of myself, and talk to my comrades, comrades there, and all of that. But yeah, I like to keep to the energy of myself, because it's just like, many times when I have opened up my heart to get to know people, I got emotionally played. So the way I give the benefit of the doubt now, to people who are like wanting, let's say they want to get to know me or something like that, I really pay attention to their words and actions. Like, do they want to spend time with me? Do they want to like sincerely talk with me, mingle, that type of stuff. So yeah, guys, that's what happens when you get bullied a lot. For some people, it's hard for them to open up their heart because of what they've been through, and it's really sad. It sucks. So I would have to say no. Do you dislike the sound of your own voice? Nah, my voice motherfucking sexy, bitch. I'm playing. No, I look, man. I'll have to say, growing up, yeah, I fucking hated the sound of my voice. I was made fun of for it. Like, oh, your voice sounds fucking weird. And it's like, well, okay, I'm just gonna like keep to myself and read this fucking manga. No, I guys, let me tell you, I love like web comics and all that shit. Oh man, so fucking good. Sorry, guys, I'm still, as you can see, I'm still recovering from a fucking cold. Oh, and speaking of that, guys, man, the amount of people that have been remix coughing, as I like to call it, including myself, man, what is going on, guys, with this like flu of like 2026? It's like fucking wild, man. I can't. It's like, for me, it's like I started to feel better, and I'm like, yeah, I feel great. Fuck yeah, like ready to seize the motherfucking day, and then like today, I started coughing. I was like, no, no, the fuck, we're not coughing. No, the fuck, we're not coughing. Like, get the fuck out of here. And yeah, so it's like I feel maybe I'm just, this is the residual flu or whatever the fuck this is. But yeah, I don't dislike the sound of my voice. I think it's sexy. You got to empower yourself, guys, especially like, for me, that's the journey I've been on. I've been doing something called shadow work, and just looking, back at, my past and everything, and shadow work, what it does for me is it really empowers me, that the things that people made fun of me for, those are things that I should have been proud of. Like when people would make fun of me for liking gothic art, I should have been like, yeah, you know what, I fucking love gothic art. It's the fucking shit. Like, I like it. That's what makes me happy. And whatever makes you happy and you like that, that's awesome. You know what I mean? But no, I don't dislike the sound of my voice. I've learned to embrace it and love it, but it takes time sometimes when it comes to those things. Do you like the color blue more than the color black? Not really. I fucking love the color black, as you can see. You know, black is very becoming. No, like guys, if it were me, honestly, I would dress like Halloween 24 fucking 7. But let me tell you guys, sometimes gothic clothing, it just depends on the type that you like. But it can be kind of expensive, so that's why I love watching like on social media and just really cool videos of goth content creators um, that are showing like gothic fashion on a budget and things. And I like luxury goth, as they call it. It's pretty cool. um, but yeah, I fucking love black, man. But a dark blue, ultramarine, that's a really pretty color, ultramarine. Um, but yeah, I do like the color black. I'm very much Morticia Adams. Like, that's the honest truth. That's how I am. But I have to say, no. If you found money on the street and knew who it belonged to, would you give it back to them? Ah, that's a good question. Yes, I would. Okay, I'm not trying to get my ass kicked. Fuck nah, man. I should. I'm no UFC fighter and shit. No, I'm playing. Guys, have you seen UFC? Fucking wild, man. Have you seen like kickboxing? Guys, when I tell you I love like, women's kickboxing, women's boxing, guys, oh my gosh, have you seen those lady boxers? They don't fuck around in that ring. Like boxing in general, guys. You gotta be like a tough ass motherfucker to like get in a ring and put on them boxing gloves and square up like that. Like that's a talent, man. It really is. To condition, your body, stay in shape. Like for me, I like to box, and they have these things. They're really cool. It's called like a boxing machine. It's kind of like Simon Says, but with boxing. Um, and I just bought one recently. I'll have to try it out though. They're pretty rad though. Pretty cool. So yeah, I would give the money back because I'm not trying to get my ass kicked. But overall, it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. And like guys, in this economy, every fucking penny counts. Money, yeah, every fucking penny counts. Are you sure you want the answers you seek? Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah. No. Are you afraid of spiders? Oh, guys, have you seen those like big fucking spiders? Like, I'm not sure if you guys watch Bear Grylls. What a daddy. I'm like, oh, daddy Bear Grylls. Oh, he's so yummy to me, guys. Oh my god. Like Bear Grylls. I wish you were not taken. No, I'm horrible. Just hoeing it up, guys, here on Shamanic Goth. No. All jokes aside. Yeah, I fucking spiders, bro. I mean, they can get huge, guys. Like, have you seen the spiders of Australia? So, to those of y'all living in Australia, y'all some brave motherfuckers. Cause them spiders, yo, no joke. I've seen that, guys, on social media. That I think it was like a meme or hashtag. It was just like, this is why you shouldn't leave your window open in Australia. I see the fuck why. Gosh dang, guys. Some of those snakes, though, and it depends, too, to be fair, what part of Australia you live in as an example. But, guys, there are some parts of the world, them bugs don't fuck around, man. They're fucking huge. Like Bear Grylls, man, that's why I love him. For those of you who are not familiar, Bear Grylls, he's like a British adventurer and all that shit. He's fucking amazing, and in my opinion, and he's known for that show, like Man versus Wild and all that. He had a show recently. I gotta start watching it, and I think he had like some like Survivor kind of show too. That was kind of cool with like challenges and shit. But yeah, I fucking hate spiders, man. Like, what the fuck? If you knew you would emerge, or if you knew you would emerge unscathed, unscathed. I can't even talk. What the fuck? Would you jump into molten lava? The fuck? No, I wouldn't. Uh-uh. I can't go for that. No. Like that song, you know? But, no. Molten lava, that's not something to fuck around with. Like, guys, remember that eruption that fucking happened in Iceland? Okay, that volcano was not fucking around. It was like, hello, how the fuck you doing? Here's some fucking molten lava. And when I tell you guys, I felt so bad, you know, for the people living in that area. Like, some of them lost their homes and shit. Like, natural disasters, guys, are no fucking joke. Like, tornadoes and fucking, you know, hurricanes and shit with high winds and shit. You not, No, I'm not doing that shit. Okay. Would you consider yourself. Oh my gosh, guys. I am so sorry for yawning. It's been a long fucking day. Would you consider yourself to be fat? How dare you, Quizmaster? No. Okay, so I would consider myself to be fucking yummy. Period. No. But like, here's the thing, guys, I will say, right? You know, I really feel bad for, you know, people who are like plus size or fabulous and thick is what I like to call fat. Because it's like you're just constantly bombarded with being made fun of for your size. Now, I will say things are getting a little bit better, but like, you know, for example, if a plus size person is really just confident in themselves, you know, it's hard for them because sometimes they get, you know, made fun of more, you know, or if they try a different fashion, like, oh, why would you wear that? Ew, gross, you know, or something like that. You know, that sucks, you know. But yeah, I wouldn't consider, you know, I wouldn't consider myself to be fat. I would say like fabulous fucking thick. Just a bad bitch. No, like I am totally gassing up my ego today. No. But yeah, being, you know, being thick or fat and stuff, I feel bad, you know, for people who have to deal with that. It's not a good fucking time. Would you say that you have a lot of charisma? Look at me, I'm fucking tired. No. Honestly, I don't, guys. You know, one of my favorite shows that I love is Daria. And that's what I would say. I'm like, I have the energy of. I am so sorry, guys. I'm like yawning. I'm just like, you know, fucking tired. No, um, I don't really have charisma, guys. Like, I don't have the energy for that. Like, that's the thing, guys. The older you get, the more the more you're like, I just don't have the fucking energy for that. I don't have the energy for that. I just want to be cozy and comfortable. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. You know? That's the other thing I've realized as you get older. You say that. You're like, I don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck about this. Don't give a fuck about that. Fuck, 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 fuck. No, I'm playing. I'm so dumb. So yeah, I would have to say no. Have you ever wished you could be temporarily frozen? Nah, not really. That doesn't sound like a good time. Nah, I'll have to pass on that. Huh, this is all very interesting. Hmm. Did you realize that the last letter of the previous 5 questions, when put together, spell the name Satan? No, I'm a dumb bitch. I did not realize that. Does that make you feel uncomfortable? Yeah, it kind of fucking does. Yeah, a little bit. No. I mean, I'm a goth. Like, come on. What the fuck? No, I'm playing. No, it doesn't make me uncomfortable. Are you good at finding hidden puzzles or clues? As I said, I'm a dumb bitch. Are you now wondering what other hidden messages are placed within these questions? Yeah, I'm wondering that. Have you been entirely honest with your answers thus far? Oh, yeah, fuck yeah, I have. Are you afraid of the consequences for answering questions dishonestly? No. Were you aware that there could be potential consequences for answering dishonestly? No. Are you wondering how these questions began to take a strange turn? Yeah, I wonder. I was like, we went from like, you know, are you fat? It's like, fuck, what? You know, like, all right, here's the second set of questions, guys. So this is where I think we last left off. Because see what happened is I thought I could like save, but it's like you gotta play through the entire game. Like you gotta go through the entire thing. Okay. So it would say okay, so the question says so it would say I'm so fucking tired, guys. It's been a long fucking day. Would you consider yourself captivative? Not really. Like I said, I'm boring as fuck. Very interesting. Interesting. Would you consider yourself to be brave? Not really, guys. I ain't no Bear Grylls. Mm-mm. No, ma'am. Mm-mm. No Bear Grylls here. Guys, I am amazed by the people who do that shit. Like, y'all just jump out of an airplane and, you know, paragliding and all that shit. You gotta be a brave ass motherfucker, you know, to do shit like that. It's like, wow. Do you view yourself as someone with above average intelligence? Not really. I'm a dumb bitch. I love how I have no confidence in myself, but I'm just keeping it real, guys. I am not smart, man. I suck at a lot, okay? I suck at writing. I suck at math. Like I am just not talented, unfortunately. Have you been looking for hidden messages in these questions? Not really. Are you wondering which hidden messages you may have missed? Not really. Have you begun to wonder how long this test will take or how many questions exist in this session? Yeah, I'm wondering because I'm like, I mean, we've been, what, playing for an hour now? So, yeah, this is a long ass test. Would you consider yourself a patient person? Not really. I am an impatient motherfucker, man. I don't know, guys. Maybe it just comes with getting older or some shit. It's like it's like the older you get, the more you're like, man, I don't got time for this shit. I don't got time for this shit. I don't got. But you know, everyone is different though. You know, everybody is different. But yeah, I am not a patient person. I am one impatient motherfucker. Do most humans annoy you? Okay, and this is not me being an asshole, but I would have to say yes on this. And here's why, guys, is like I said, you know, and I know I sound maybe like a Debbie Downer, but like for most of my life, you know, it's just people have told me I suck. Like I suck at this, I suck at that, I suck at this, I'm not talented. It's like, you know, so I understand that saying where, you know, some people say they prefer the company of animals over people. And once again, guys, it's not some people being an asshole saying they don't like people. But man, when you are constantly being made fun of or not being, you know, like not being taken seriously for like your talents and stuff, you know, you start to go on this journey where you rediscover yourself. You're like, you know, I like for example, some people will say that. They're like, you know, I've spent, you know, most of my life being a people pleaser, making people happy and those type of things. And you know, eventually you get to a point where you're just like, you know, um if people really don't like me like that and people keep telling me I suck, then maybe it's better for me to just keep to the energy of myself, you know? But see, there's a pro and a con with that, right? Because if you keep to the energy of yourself, sometimes there are people who will not like you for doing that. But it's like, well, you told me you don't like me, so I'm going to keep to myself now because it's better for me to keep to myself, than to than to just, be fake friends with someone. So I would have to say, yeah, some people are annoying. It's not me being an asshole. I feel there are really good, good quality people out here, nice people, but you know, it's just because I think of what I've been through. I'm just like, yeah, I like to, just do cozy hobbies and shit, but if there are nice people around me, I vibe with them. It's all good. But I understand why some people like the company of hanging out with, animals, over people. It's not that they don't like people. It's just, maybe they got made fun of for like their whole life and they're just like, you know, um, yeah, I'm gonna talk to, fewer humans. Do you prefer? How funny is that? That came right after. Do you prefer animals to people? Yeah, I guys, capybaras. Oh my gosh, guys! When I tell you, I fucking love fucking capybaras. I just love that they're like stoic faces, but there's love in that stoic face. You know what I mean? And I've heard hugging like a capybara is just like heaven. But yeah, I love animals. I really love watching like sassy bird videos and sassy husky videos. There's nothing like a sassy husky. Husky. There we go. And they talking back like, "Hey, you need to come inside." No, oh, I love a sassy husky. They're the fucking best. Oh, yes. Do you believe in magic? Okay, so this is an interesting question because it's like, okay, is this question referring to like magician magic, like magic shows or something? Or is it referring to like magical practices like spiritual magic, like charmed and those kind of things, or like spirituality? And I have to say yes with this one, guys, because um when you, like, for example, myself, I am training to become a Reiki master. And when you go through like Reiki training and stuff, you spend a lot of time, because see how like the Reiki like curriculum um works is you have Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Reiki master, and Reiki master teacher. Okay, and with each level, you're being taught, like, of course, in one, you're taught about, like, of course, level 1 kind of stuff, foundations, all that kind of cool stuff. um and I started reading up too on the like history of Reiki and those type of things. It's very interesting. But yeah, when you start to understand your spiritual path, you start to realize these type of things. Like, yeah, oh, magic, yeah, magic is definitely real. That's just me. Everyone has different beliefs, of course, but I feel magic is real, and energy is real, and all those type of things. So I would have to say yes. But yeah, and then when you get into like, currently I'm in Reiki 2. And then in Reiki 2, yeah, you really start to understand that, like, the frequencies of energy and those kind of really cool stuff like that. So yeah, I would have to say yeah. Do you believe in God or the existence of some form of higher power? Yeah, I would have to say yeah. Some people say God, some people say universe, spirit, etc. But I think for me, the reason why I say yes to this is, I just think for me, I've just had experiences where I'm just like, yeah, there's a universe out here, man. And or if you see the beauty of nature, if you spend time in meditation, prayer, depending on your spiritual path. And as you advance to, like, I like talking about spirituality as well, as you can see. But yeah, when you spend time in like meditation, or if you spend time really um, connecting in that way, yeah, you really start to like understand this question. You're like, yeah, maybe there is this, wonderful universe, and, um, or there is, let's say, gods, goddesses, all that really cool stuff. I really like learning about, for example, I love Norse mythology, guys. If you have a chance, read up on some Norse mythology. It's fucking amazing, or having the chance to just learn about, spirituality and, different parts of the world. It's super cool, like super, super cool. So I would have to say, yes. Do you fear death? That is an interesting question, especially if you're like a goth. It's like, do you feel death? Or do you fear death or feel death? It's like, nah. No, all jokes aside, that was a goth joke. Well, classic one. But no, I don't fear death, because death is a part of life. Death is the part of the cycle of life. But overall, though, I've been reading a lot about people who are grief counselors, guys. People who do like end of life stuff. They are fucking heroes, man. To do that type of work, it's not easy, to do work like that. But one thing that I have, learned from people who do that, like end of life or like life work, or um, people who are, into that, industry, is it makes you appreciate life more, guys. When you are a grief counselor, and you're, seeing, grief in all different forms, it really makes you, from what I've heard, it makes you really want to have more vibrancy and passion for life, to be more ambitious, and do the things that you enjoy. So yeah, I do not take life for granted, and I think that's the reason why I don't fear death, because death, it'll, it's a part of life. It'll come, it happens, not to be not to be like that, like death, oh, like. But no, I don't fear it, because it's a part of life. Ooh, messy whole time, messy whole time. No. Are you attracted to someone whom you're not currently in a relationship with? Ooh, that's a tough ass question. Huh. I would have to say no. Okay. And this is a reason why. It's like I was mentioning earlier. Um yeah, dating and relationships, guys, is really hard, though. It can be tough, because it's like you really have to know yourself before you can get into a relationship, to like answer this question honestly. It's like, if you don't know yourself, right, how can you be in a relationship and be fully committed to it and be present, not only for yourself but for your partner, and vice versa? So I think, this is just me, I think, if more people would do things like the love language test. We'll do that sometime, guys. It's really fun. I have all the books here and stuff, and you can take the test online. It's just really interesting to learn about stuff like that, in my opinion. But I think if the more people took the time to understand their love languages, I think there would be less relationship conflicts. I think there would be less breakups. I think the more that people learn how to communicate as a couple, learn how to, have relationship mediation skills, and, learn what it means to like live together, for example, really get to know each other, and this is why I like to call dating courtship, because to me that's how dating was, guys, like back in the day, even in the 50s. I was reading about that. Like dating was like you really had to like take it seriously. But then by the time, and this is my opinion now, by the time the 60s came in, then you had the free love movement. So then love became more casual and more experimental. But now we're living in an interesting time where the dating climate, in my opinion, has it's kind of become half and half. It really has become half and half, because you have some people who want the FWB, right? Friends with benefits. And then there are other people who want, like, long term committed relationships that don't necessarily mean marriage, but it's just a partnership. You guys are together, right? Long-term partnership is what they call it. And then you have more of the casual dating, and there's all different types, guys, of dating dynamics. Some people are poly, and there's like exclusive poly, there's non-exclusive, like there's all these different relationship dynamics. So in my opinion now, okay, I think if you're single and you're ready to mingle, as they would say, I feel before mingling, you might want to do research about what is the current dating climate in my environment, and is that congruent to what I want in a relationship. Like my relationship, they would say relationship standards. One of my favorite matchmakers, she keeps it real though, but her name is Patty Singler. You may know her from Bravo's Millionaire Matchmaker, and she's really a polarizing figure though, because it's like people, like some people, they just love to hate her though, because a lot of the romantic like insight she gives, or dating insight she gives, I don't think she says it to be like, this is just my opinion now, I don't think she says it to be a dick though. I think she's maybe speaking from experience and just keeping 100. Because see, there's a lot of socioeconomics too, guys, that plays into dating as well. So that's something that took me for a loop when I was understanding like dating and romance and stuff like that. Socioeconomics can play a role in it. It can, you know. Some people prefer a more luxurious type of date. Other people, they prefer the coffee date. Now, remember, guys, last year on social media, there was that whole debate about like the coffee date and all of that. So that's the first thing you have to figure out, in my opinion, before you start dating. You have to figure out what are your dating standards, or as Patty Sigler would say from the Millionaire Matchmaker, what are your negotiables and your non-negotiables, and then what are the things that you're more like you would compromise, right? It doesn't mean being submissive. It means like, because here's the thing, guys, when you're in a relationship with someone, that person will evolve and change over time, right? So love can't be the foundation. Like it's not just the okay. Love is not just the foundation to longevity in a relationship. I think getting to know the person, coinciding that, it helps to reinforce love. That's something that I've learned, because it's like, I used to be the type where it's like, oh, I would just be enthralled with someone. Oh, I really like them. I like them. I like them. But then I didn't take the time to really get to know them. Learn about what they like, what they don't like, their negotiables, their non-negotiables. So I would say honestly no, because I think I'm just in the mindset where it's like you gotta study the dating environment to answer this question, to really be able to put your heart out there. So I would have to say no, because it's like I think I'm just observing the dating environment, um, because it's an interesting dating like environment. But I just think, you know, for some people, I just feel they need to take their time to really get to know themselves before putting their heart out there. So that way, you know, they're not wasting, you know, their time, or they're not with someone that they are not, you know, the both of y'all are not compatible, right? For each other. So I have to say no. Did you answer that question? Or did you answer that last question with 100% honesty? Yeah, I did. Are you alone? See, that's a really interesting question though, cuz I'm looking into it deeper, right? So, some people would say that loneliness is it's like peace and solitude, but is it really though? You know, cuz that's the thing, like I joke about that all the time where I'm like, yeah, I like, you know, being in the energy of myself. But humans are people though too that also thrive off of companionship. You know, like they thrive off of companionship. So, and when I mean thrive, it's not like emotionally using someone, but people like talking to people. I mean, look at social media, right? Social media, look at, for example, VTubers, right? Or PNG tubers. I think the reason why, excuse me, a lot of them have you know, have really risen, like some, you know, of course, have really risen to success quickly, because people just like connecting with characters, or you know, they just like connecting with unique perspectives and ideas and concepts, and those type of things. So I would have to say no, because if you think about like human connection, like I don't think that, I mean, there are still people who like to be by themselves, right? But I think they just, you know, there's just people who just, you know, they like camaraderie and company. So I think that's the way I'm going to answer this question. If I told you with utmost certainty that there's something watching you, would you believe me? I would say, nah. Have you wondered who I am? Yes. Have you had any shivers at any point in this session? No, I have not. Do you feel like you're being watched? Nah. Have you considered quitting this session early? No, not really. Do you drink water every day? No, this is something I need to fucking work on though. like for real, bros. Bro, no, bruh. No, I'm playing. I am so uncool, guys. But no, drinking water, man, that's something I need to work on. Like, I am horrible about that. I like drinking, man, I am a huge, like, tea drinker. You know, I like drinking coffee once like a month or so, cuz like y'all, coffee, I don't know why, it gives me like the jitters now, like my, I feel like my hands are shaking and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of fucking coffee is this, you know? But I've become more of like a herbal tea like drinker. I love herbal tea. I just got actually some yeah, some lavender tea. Oh my gosh, it was fabulous. Oh, so so good, so relaxing, all of that. But no, I don't drink water every day. That's, I know that's terrible. I really should. I need to get better at that. Do you eat at least once per day every day? Yeah, I like to eat about like twice a day, and then I throw a snack in. And this is why, guys, cuz I used to like eat a lot to the point where I felt like I was overeating. So, yeah. So, like, I learned really quickly, like, yeah, I have to really eat selectively and really eat, making sure I'm eating the right type of foods. Because, I told you guys I deal with a condition that's called PCOS, or it's called polycystic ovarian syndrome. And for at least for me, because there's different symptoms to it, um, so it affects, a person with a uterus, of course. From well, it varies from uterus owner. There we go, uterus owner to uterus owner. But yeah, one thing I noticed is when the PCOS was really, really, starting to show up for me. I noticed, yeah, that I was eating a lot. Like I was eating. I was like, yeah, it could be maybe that my metabolism and all of that is off. At least for me, one thing that I've been doing is learning about traditional Chinese medicine, and that, excuse me here, that has made a huge difference for me, like for sure. So yeah, I eat at least twice a day with a snack in there, so I'll have to say yes. Do you realize that there is a high probability that you have missed a plethora of hidden messages thus far? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Are you wondering what they are? Oh, yeah, I am curious. Would it bother you to never know without finding them yourself? Yeah, it would. Is your favorite number 7? Nah, it's not. Life is short, but it is the longest thing we'll ever do. Do you agree? Yeah, I do, guys. And here is why, okay? Life is really short. Like, because some people will say terms like life is, timeless, but life is really short because depending, and then, see, this is a deep philosophical question, right? It's like, depending on the choices that we make in life, life is either short or life is long. Okay, this is how I'm perceiving the question. So, when I look at my life, to me, life has felt like a standstill. It has felt short because when I look at the decisions, for example, like being a huge fucking people pleaser, you know, that took time away from me really spending that time deeply discovering who I am. And I think if I did that more, which is what I'm doing now, with like my shadow work sessions and things like that, I love like what are called shadow work oracle decks. I'll have to share with you guys some of my personal favorites that I love using for my like shadow work sessions. Um, and when I started doing shadow work, that's when I realized I was like, yeah, being a, like for at least for me, my people pleasing tendencies, it has made me think about life being short, you know? But then now when you start to go through that, like, cause part of like shadow work, in my opinion, you go through like like parts of like emotional healing. You're looking back at your past, and then you have another part of shadow work where you start to do integration, okay, as I like to call it, where you start to apply your emotional healing journey, and then you start connecting the dots that way. And then that's when life starts to feel long again because you are living in your truth. You are just really being yourself, and you are focusing on the energy of yourself, and you stop caring about what people think about you. But for me, because I was caring so much about what people thought about me, life felt more static. It didn't feel like life had longevity to it. If this makes sense. So yeah, I would say yes. Oranges cannot be compared to apples. Do you agree? Damn, that's a good question. These questions are juicy, y'all. Um, hmm, hmm. Honestly, yeah, this is a deep question. Okay, this is how I perceive this, right? Excuse me, guys. I'll be back here because I got a tickle in my throat. I'll be back. I am back, my darlings. No, I've always wanted to say that, but okay, let's continue here, guys. I just had like this tickle in my throat. I was like, bro. But it's like when you talk for this long, guys, like I don't know how voice actors do it, you know? They're amazing, man. I love like voice actors. They're amazing. All right. So let's continue, shall we? All right. So yeah, I don't think you can compare oranges to apples, and this is why. Okay, this is a very deep philosophical question, and this is why. Um, because if you okay, this is the way I can think about it, right? So think about fashion, right? So imagine if we lived in a world where oh no, I'll use a better analogy. Okay, so I really love this movie, guys. It's a classic. The original movie is from the 70s, but they made a remake and it's called The Stepford Wives. If you ever want to watch a really fun, campy, like funny movie too, it's excellent. Like in every way, in my opinion. Love this movie. So the premise of the Stepford Wives is there are a couple protagonists, and they end up going to this small town, right? But they notice that the people in the town, they're all wearing the same fashion and everything, especially the wives of Stepford, right? And they're meant to be like prim and proper and perfect and makeup and all of that. So what starts to happen is when the new like the new couple move the new yeah couple moves into Stepford, they really start standing out, and then some of the residents of Stepford, they start saying like, but you know, why can't your wife wear a dress like us? Why can't she be like us, you know? And this is why you can't compare apples to oranges, because when you start to have a sense, like in Stepford Wives, of, you know, the best way to be happy is through, you know, being all the same or following the Joneses, it what it does, just to tie it in with the other question, for some people, that's where life can become boring. It can feel stagnant. those, like, those type of things, okay? But I would say overall, yeah, you really cannot compare oranges to apples, because when you do that, then that takes away originality. I think I'm thinking too deep into this, but yeah, that's a great way, I would say, to look at it. So yeah, I would say, yeah, you can't do that, because when you do that, then things kind of get repetitive, and then life, for some people, that's where life becomes unenjoyable. Interesting. Okay, so it says Venus is sometimes referred to as the morning star. Did you know that? No, I did not. Everyone deserves a second chance. Do you agree? Ooh, that's a juicy question. Okay, guys, give me one moment. I'll be back here. All right, y'all. I am back here. Ooh, yeah, these questions are getting tougher and tougher and deeper and more philosophical. Okay, but does everyone deserve a second chance? Okay. Now, this is a way you have to, in my opinion, think about this. Is I think about, for example, people who are considered late bloomers, right? This is a perfect example to answer this question. So, there are some people, right, in life where they don't start their life until they're much older, right? And these are some of the people that are described as late bloomers, where they had to kind of do things later in life. But there's a reason why, guys. One example of why this happens, and there's a term, right? Excuse me. It's called accessibility, right? And remember, I was talking about things like socioeconomics and stuff. Socioeconomics, guys, plays a role in accessibility. So, the more that you can make your life comfortable, right? And the more you get opportunities to network and things like that, it gives you better accessibility, and then it allows you to have an ease of life that makes life easier, right? But for late bloomers, what can happen is sometimes, these people, they had to, let's say, take care of like a family member that was sick, or maybe they were sick themselves, and they just couldn't, during, some people say like your prime, start what the first prime starts when you're in your probably mid to late 20s, right? But in your early 20s, that is like your, when, I would say maybe 18 to about 24. That's like that first half of the foundation of adulthood. So many people say you should focus on, like, finding your career and doing all of that. And then by the time you're 24, you start to make that more concrete. And then by the time you're like 35, you should already, as this was really amazing to me, guys. But they say now that, excuse me, before you are 35, you need to be thinking about retirement and planning for that in advance, so that way you have the retirement to hopefully, start to enjoy your life, like enjoying that next phase of life in retirement, right? So that's why I agree with this in this context, that everyone deserves a second chance, because I think about people who are late bloomers, and they had to put their life on hold to maybe take care of someone else, and they may have had to postpone things. Maybe they didn't have the finances and stuff like that. You can do anything you put your mind to. Do you agree? I would have to say no. Okay. So this is a very classic saying, but this is a very unpopular opinion. Okay. So to really put your mind to do anything, you have to apply knowledge to it, though. Okay? And if you don't have the knowledge, how can you apply the skill set? So this is why, guys, you know that saying some people say, education is important. That's why education can come in all different forms. Whether you go to college, whether you study and you become an entrepreneur, certifications, those type of things. But you have to put the application of the knowledge before you can put your mind to it, before you can do it. Because if you don't have the application, right, if you don't know how to do your job by gaining, for example, product knowledge, depending on the job, how are you going to do it? So that's why I answered no. Obedience is more important than freedom. Do you agree? Ooh, shit. That's a good question, man. Okay. So, some of these questions you gotta think about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would have to say no. Okay, and it ties into the other question, right? Because if you are compliant, right, with obedience in the beginning, it might seem satisfying because you're fitting in, right? You feel this sense of belonging, but eventually, if let's say you're in the popular crowd, right, in college, and you're cool and you're hip and that kind of stuff, but excuse me, eventually that coolness might fade off if you start to do things that are hobbies and interests that are outside of the cool factor according to the people you hang out with. So this is the reason why I say it's better to hang out with people who sincerely and generally like you for you versus having to take the emotional energy and then changing yourself into something that you're not, because that's doing a disservice to who you are as a person. So that's why I said no. Underwater adventures sound like a fun time. Do you agree? Huh. I would say no, right? Huh. Because you gotta be equipped for stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like doing stuff underwater, you gotta get the proper training, all of that stuff. That doesn't sound fun to me, though. But everyone's different, though. I commend the people who do that shit, though. They brave as fuck. Do you realize that the first letters of the previous 8 questions spelled I love you? I didn't even see that shit, bro. That's funny. Do you wish to be loved? It reminds me of that song, right, from Jill Scott, right? I just want to be loved like everybody else does. Like, oh, I love her, man. The reason why I like Jill Scott's songs, she's like a poet and a singer, right? Singer songwriter, like all together. But she wrote that song not too long ago. But yeah, I could just relate to that. Being loved, guys, is hard as fuck. It really is, because, and this is just something I've learned, is that for someone to really love you guys, it really does take a lot of emotional energy, because that person is not loving you in like a transactional way. Because love shouldn't feel like, I always say this, guys, but love shouldn't feel like a emotional transaction. It should feel organic, it should feel sincere, it should feel real. But to truly be loved, though, you can't just rely on the foundation of the characteristics of love. You really have to work with each other, understand each other's mannerisms and those things to really like to really love someone. So, um, it would be nice to be loved, but good love takes time. So that's why I answered yes. Have you ever felt hated? Oh yeah, all the time. See, that's the hard thing, guys. Especially if you are into like different like subcultures and stuff. Um, if you have a different fashion and it's not cool, sometimes like some people automatically not like you because it's not cool, right? So, yeah, I have felt that. That's not a good time. Do you have any addictions? You know what? For me, guys, I am so addicted to short dramas. So, in case you guys don't know, here on Shamanic Goth, I also do reviews, or I call it analysis and perspective because that's really what I do. And I talk about these short dramas, and I am so obsessed with them, guys. They're just okay. So for for those of you who are not familiar, so there are these amazing short dramas. Um, Sometimes you can watch them on like an app on your phone, and they're 1 minute long, but man, are they addicting, guys. It's like I watch one after the other after the other after the other. Oh, they're so good, so good. So I would have to say yes on that. Do you dislike the color pink? Yeah, I do. Like, for me, it's just not my vibe. I understand why people like pink. Like, the only type of pink color I would like is like a darker pink, though. That's probably it, though. So yeah, I'm just not. Nothing wrong with pink, but it's just not for me. Does the color gray seem depressing? Hmm. It doesn't. I like gray, cause gray is such a neutral color, though. It doesn't seem depressing to me, though. Do you enjoy loud music? Hell yeah. I know it's bad for my eardrums, but man, there's just something about like blasting like heavy metal. I like a lot of Viking metal. It's just something, you just turn it up a little bit. You're like, oh shit, yeah, that's my vibe. So yeah, I like that shit. Do you like to dance? Yeah, I like to shake some ass once in a while. No, but I can't twerk for shit, guys. I would blow my back out. And yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. No. But no, I commend the people who can dance. I really am into I like belly dancing. Like, that's my shit right there. I like it. I like to sway the hips a little bit, you know? A little bit. Would you consider yourself normal? No, absolutely not. I am kooky. I am spooky. You know, yeah, that's just who I am. I tell people I am a modern day Morticia Adams ish, but yeah, I just, I'm just learning, I'm relearning myself, guys. Because here's the thing, like, when you have been a people pleaser like myself for so long, it's like sometimes you feel like you don't know what your personality is, because it's like you spent so many years like kind of formulating your personality to make others happy. So it's like when you're rediscovering yourself, it's a beautiful thing, and that's like what I'm doing right now in my life. But yeah, I am not fucking normal, and that's okay. It's okay to be you and do you, boo. That's what I like to say. Be you, do you, boo. Okay. Do you love your parents? Do I love my parents? I mean, they gave me life, so no, 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 no. I'm being an asshole. No, no. I think my parents are phenomenal people. I do love them. Man, they're fucking amazing. Um, they have worked so hard, worked so hard to be where they're at, and I'm fucking proud of them. So I would say yes. Have you ever been lied to? Yeah, unfortunately, yes. Do you get angry often? Yeah, I. That's something. See, I'm keeping it real, y'all. But yeah, that is something I need to work on. Is I can be very impatient when it comes to like certain things, and I need to learn that. So I think this is the reason why I've been learning about like meditation and stuff, because I've learned that meditation in certain forms, it like for someone like me, it does help me with my patience because I'm sitting in stillness and I'm getting in tune with my feelings and my emotions and connecting with that. But everyone has a different way, of course, figuring out their feelings and all of that. Um, but yeah, I sometimes get, I wouldn't say often, so I have to say no, but yeah, sometimes I can be angry because it's like maybe it's just because I'm frustrated that something's not working the way I would like for it to work. Excuse me, guys, sorry, I'm like gassy today. Do you hold grudges? Do I? Yeah, I have to say I do. And this is why I have to explain this. So I don't hold like grudges to be like petty. I think is when someone really emotionally hurts me, then it's like I never want to talk to them again, because it's like why would I continue to emotionally invest in someone who is intentionally like breaking my heart, for no reason? So it's not me holding grudges in a negative way. I think I sometimes just I disassociate to protect my heart, and that is normal. If someone is not being nice to you, it's like you're probably not wanting to talk to them again, right? Have you ever forgiven someone? Ooh, okay, this is juicy. No, I have. I have. I have. Playing this game, I know some of you guys are gonna be like, "Wow, she's cold hearted as fuck." All jokes aside, but yeah, I have forgiven some people, but I won't lie, it is very hard for me to forgive people who have been mean to me and stuff like that, because it's like, why would you be mean to me? But I'm learning, yeah, forgiveness is it is an important thing, because forgiveness is also something that you learn as part of the healing journey. At least that's what I've learned. Have you ever done something you knew you shouldn't have done, but you did it anyway? Oh yeah, I mean, who hasn't? Have you ever lied? Oh yeah, I've done that. These questions are fucking savage. Have you ever cheated on a test? Hell no. Guys, cheating, that is terrible. Especially on a test. Okay, and then depending, right, on the policies of like, let's say the college you go to and stuff, it's like you could get completely dismissed from your program. You could get kicked out of like college completely. Like it to me, I feel it's not worth it. So no, I would not do that shit. Absolutely the fuck not. Well, that's reassuring. Yeah. Yeah, nobody got time to be getting kicked out of college, man. College expensive as fuck. Do you think that flowers are more beautiful than trees? No, I think trees are more beautiful than flowers, because the flower will wilt, right, eventually as the seasons change, but then you have the foundation of the tree. Such a beautiful thing, man. Love trees. Oh, that's an interesting question. Have you ever wanted to be an animal instead of a person? Hmm. Man, would I want to be a capybara though? Because capybaras, man, they can poop though. Like animals, man, some animals, guys, they can poop though. I don't know. I like being human though, even though like the way I've been answering this is like, me being like, well, I prefer animals over people. But the thing that's cool, don't get me wrong, being an animal, it probably is a cool experience, but um I like, I would say I like being a person because animals can feel emotions, right? They can feel all of the different you know ranges of feelings and emotions, but I think with being human too, you have just this unique spectrum of emotions that for animals it's kind of at a different frequency. That's the best way I would describe it. It's similar because they're doing research now on animal, like further research, I mean, on animal emotions and stuff. It's very fascinating. But I don't think I would rather be an animal. There's something about being human, guys, that's just so unique, though. I can't put my finger on it, but it's such a beautiful thing, you know. So I think I would stay human. Do you believe that you have psychic powers? Interesting. Okay. That's that's a really interesting way to word that question. Okay, so first you have to define psychic powers, right? So when some people, right, think about psychic powers, they think about what's called clairvoyance, and that is having spiritual abilities to see visually. Like, for example, some people can see like ghosts, and some people are spirits, or some people, like for example, Phoebe, right, in Charmed, she is what was called a clair tangent. So this is where someone touches like an item and then they get a vision, which I'm sure is like probably really intense, right? Um, so there's different types of clairs, right? But here's where the conversation gets interesting because this has been, guys, an ongoing debate within a lot of academic, right? Spiritual conversations and debates and stuff. Um, because you have to define what is the different categorizations of psychic powers before you really can answer this question, you know? And then you also have to attribute the different perspectives of different spiritual paths that believe in this. Okay? So I would say myself, though, I'm more of an intuitive commentator. I would say more of a I would say more of a channeler though than psychic, because you guys remember in the first part I was talking about how I have aphantasia, and aphantasia, there's a whole spectrum of it, but the aphantasia that I have is what they call mental blindness. So if you say close your eyes and think of an apple, I can't see the apple. So it would be hard for me to say that if you're posing this question, right, based on clairvoyancy, like visual psychic powers, then I would have to say no. I'm more what they would say, yeah, I'm more of like an intuitive channeler. I'm more clairtangent when it comes to like my oracle readings and things. Where and more of a channeler when it comes to my oracle readings and things, because what happens, guys, when you learn like oracle and tarot and things, is for some people, if you're clairtangent, You will, like, some people will get visions when they touch something, but other people, if they have, like, for example, aphantasia, um, they may, they'll touch, like, let's say touch an oracle card, and they may get like a deeper commentary of channeling in their mind, or some people actually channel and talk. I've seen that, like, when people do like oracle readings and things like that. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Now, some people too believe that you can train your clairs, and then eventually, for some people, they can, um, reactivate. So there's a whole like debate about that. But I would say, um, as a clear, like, tangent, empathic kind of person, intuitive person, this is more, I feel this question is more focused on people who are more visually psychic than sensational, like more feeling or energetically psychic. And those are two different types of psychics, just in my opinion, though. Have you ever seen a ghost? Oh shit, that's a good question. Hmm. Now, once again, aphantasia. I have not seen a ghost, right? But when you are clairtangent, or you have a clair where, you can feel like energetic sensations, you can feel, like, some people can feel, guys, like the presence of a ghost. Or some people have aphantasia. They may see, like, I've heard of that, where some people can see like light in their eyes, like they see balls of light. Um, some people can see like shapes, but they don't actually see like a full. Because, see, there's the other side of aphantasia, which is called hyper aphantasia, where you are like really, really like visualizing like that. But yeah, I'm still learning about aphantasia though. It's very interesting, very, very interesting. But yeah, I have felt a ghost, and let me tell you guys, um, I will never forget that experience, yo. I will never forget that experience, never. Um, but yeah, feeling energies and stuff. It's a very interesting experience. It can be. Sometimes it can feel, intense. Other times it can feel, very calm. Stuff like that. So this is the reason why, guys, if you are intuitive, it's very important, right? That the first thing you learn when you're intuitive is you have to protect your energy. And then the reason why you have to protect your energy is because if you are energetically sensitive, then some people, yeah, they can pick up on the energies of ghosts, and it can be very, intense. But for other people, not so much. So even when it comes, guys, to like spiritual abilities and those type of things, it varies from one, intuitive or psychic person. But psychic now is such an umbrella term. So you can't, in my opinion, you can't just say, oh, they're psychic. It's sometimes I've noticed that it's better to say, oh, they're clairvoyant and clairtangent or something. Or maybe they have clairaudience, where they can hear. Some people get like ringing in their ears and stuff like that. Or there are some people, guys, they can actually smell. That's an actual clair. It's like, I forgot the name of it, but yeah, they can smell. And then like there's like a scent they can smell, and then they get a vision, or they get like the sensations or reaction to how the smell makes them feel. It's so interesting, guys. If you ever have a chance to read about like psychic gifts, or people who have spiritual abilities and stuff, it's really fascinating. So yeah, I have felt one. I haven't seen one though. Do you dream often? No, I don't actually. Like, I don't really like visualize. Like, I don't. Do you have nightmares often? Thank goodness, guys. I feel so bad for people who have that like constant nightmares, that must not be a good time. I feel really sorry for people who deal with that. So I would say no, I don't. Do you suffer from anxiety attacks? No, I don't. But I really feel bad for people who do, though. You know, that's tough, yo. That is tough. Do you suffer from depression? No, I don't. But that's tough too to deal with that as well. All right, guys. So I'm gonna leave it here, just because I've been going for like I try to stream at least for like 2 hours. Like that's what I try to do. Dang it! I really thought I was gonna finish it, but I was like, I didn't realize this test is a long test, bro. It is a really long test. So this is what we'll do, guys. So I'll pause it here, and then later on today we will hopefully continue where we last left off. But if not, what I will do is play up to this question, and then we'll start from there. But guys, thank you so much for watching today's stream. I am Auric, your goth baddie, of course, drinking my gothic coffee. No, but no, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for the follows and all of that. But guys, like I always say, remember to embrace. Embrace the creative chaos. Until next time.